here we have like genetically engineered flies, and they said that they eliminated genetic variation in these flies because they stopped errors during DNA replication. And that's the one place where mutation happens a lot, is through DNA replication. It can also happen if you have an environmental mutagen, though. But they stopped it when it happens during the S phase of DNA replication. A piece of evidence that would indicate that new variation has occurred in the engineered flies. So like, somebody says, I made flies and they're never going to go through evolution. How could I prove them wrong? What would I look for? What could I, yes, I would look for something like that. So if I had somebody that said, I just made a new population of flies and they're never going to evolve, they're never going to change. And I said, well, you just got one and it has spotted wings and none of the other ones have them. So that's a new phenotype. Now, that could be an environmental thing and maybe not a genetic thing, but it could be evidence to support it. Especially if I can map out their DNA nucleotides and I can find a new genotype that the other ones don't have. Or a difference to the chromosome. So when they say new genotype, that means a new DNA nucleotide sequence. A difference to the chromosome might be like, hey, like I have 42 pairs of chromosomes and this fly has 52. Like there's more, this one has more than this one does. Here's a difference in DNA nucleotide sequence, which is the same as a different genotype. But if the DNA is different, that means the messenger RNA would be different, which would mean your amino acids would be different. So any of those would be fine. B says, describe a mechanism that could lead to genetic variation in the engineered strain of flies. If there's no errors in DNA replication, you still have all of this sexual reproduction that happens in flies that shuffles up alleles. Or you could have gene flow or mutagens or viral transduction too. If the question was about bacteria, I could have said conjugation or transformation, but since it was about flies, I couldn't say that because they're eukaryotic. And then the most important one is describe how genetic variation in populations contributes to the process of evolution in the population. For natural selection to happen, you need genetic variation first. If everything is the same, there's nothing to select. So genetic variation drives natural selection.